Okay guys, we're going to talk about comparing fractions. Now, to compare fractions, remember we use our inequality signs or inequality symbols. Less than, the small point goes to the small number. Greater than, that big open side goes to the big number. And the equal sign. These are the symbols we use to compare fractions or numbers, our comparative numbers. Okay. Now, how do we compare numbers? We're going to review 4 of our strategies to comparing fractions. The first way is how you learn fractions when you first started is to simply draw it out. When in doubt, draw it out. For example, if I wanted to compare 3/4, or I'm sorry, 2/4 to 1/2, I can see that both of these fractions take up the same space by using a drawing, and these are equal. Okay? If I did 3/4, I could see that 3/4 takes up more space than half by using a drawing, and 3/4 is greater than 1/2. So our first strategy is simply draw it out. When in doubt, draw it out. Our second strategy is benchmarking, and we do this by asking ourselves, is the fraction, so we'll think about the fraction 4/6, is the fraction close to 0, close to half, more than 0 but less than half? Is it more than half but not 1/2? Is it more than 1/2? Or is it more than 1? Or is it 2 wholes? And so on and so on. Okay, so I know that 1/2 of 6 is 3. 3/6. I know that 1/2 is 6/6. So 4/6 would go here. And of course, if I added 5/6, that would almost be a whole. So 4/6 I could benchmark there. Now, if my number was 7/6, that is not 2 wholes because 12/6 would be 2 wholes, and 7/6 would be a little bit more than 1 whole. And 11/6 would almost be 2 wholes. Of course, I would need to stretch it out. But that is how we use benchmarking. Benchmarking to compare fractions. It's a great way to just get your mind to visualize and see those fractions. Okay, so the next ways that we're going to compare fractions are simplifying and generating to compare fractions. This works really well if you have uncommon denominators. So let's say that we want to compare 3/4 to 2/8. And I could generate 3/4 2/8 And of course, I can make an 8 from the 4 by multiplying by 2 over 2, which is 1, the identity property. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. So 6 eighths is greater than 2 eighths. 6 eighths is greater than 2 eighths. And that would be generating. Now, let's change this to 3/12. No, I can't do that. Not 3/12. Let's do 4/12. I want to compare 3/4 to 4/12. Well, this time instead of generating, that was the last thing I did. Generating. This time I'm going to use simplifying. I'm going to simplify 4/12. Okay? I know that I need to get 12 in the form of a 4. Ah, shucks. I was right the first time. 3/12. We're going to compare 3/12 and 3/4. Sorry about that. Okay. We're going to simplify 3/12 and compare it to 3/4. I know that I need to get 12 in the form of a 4. So I do that by dividing. And I'm going to divide by 3 over 3, which is 1, the identity property. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay? So I know that 1/4 is less than 3/4. So 3/12 must be less than 3/4. 3/4 is greater than 3/12. So that is using simplify. Simplify to compare fractions. Okay? Now let's compare 3/6 to 2/5. So I want to compare 3/6 to 2/5. And remember that this is that using crisscross is what I like for you to always do to check your answer. So I'm going to look at 6 and 2, and I get 12, and 5 and 3, and I get 15. 15 is greater than 12. So 3/6 is greater than 2/5, and that's crisscross. We should always check our fractions when we're comparing with crisscross. Okay, thank you. If you have any questions, just make sure you contact me. Let me know you have a question, and I'll follow up with a video conference or a FaceTime and explain it to you with more detail. Now, today for your assignment, you've got a sheet to compare that looks like that, and you'll be working on that for me. And when you finish, you'll return it with your packet, and I'll check it and get it back to you. Thank you.